or if anyone who's not joined in this class can assess it later on. Okay, so we start with this session on human growth and development. I'll take your attendance at the end, so please make sure you're here till the end. We'll end by 11:45 roughly. So this unit actually focuses on human growth and development. I will stop sharing here and I'll start sharing my screen actually for introducing the unit itself. Just bear with me a minute. So if I share the screen with you, I hope you can see it. Just give me a minute. Yeah, so just a little introduction of this unit. So this unit is, it's a level 3 unit. It's called Human Growth and Development. So we aim through this unit to develop an understanding of the various areas of growth and development and how each development area has an effect or an impact on the other. So if one is not working well, what is the impact on the other? This unit will introduce learners to the various stages of growth and development that a human being passes through on their journey through life. Okay, so it's unit level 3, and it's when you when you're done with the unit, you either have a pass, merit, or a distinction based on your assignment that you have submitted, that you will submit later on after we discuss it. A bit more about it. I hope my screen is visible to all of you. I'll make it a bit bigger so you're not straining. So at the end of this unit, you should be able to know the stages of growth and development throughout the human lifespan. This means that you will describe physical, intellectual, emotional, and social development for each of the life stages of an individual. You would be able to identify key changes from birth to old age and that affect health and well-being. And you should be able to explain developmental norms and milestones related to human growth and development. Okay. We will go through this session, and as I said again, if there is any concern, any question at the end, we can take it then also. Then the next learning outcome is to understand the potential effects of life factors and events on growth and development. So how does each factor have an impact? Okay, so we'll talk about different life factors and how do they impact your growth and your development. We'll go into details later on when we're done with the session. So these are sessions, individual sessions that we will discuss. So the third learning outcome of the third session will focus on understanding the physical and psychological changes of aging. And the fourth and the last learning outcome will be to understand the effects of transition and significant life events. Okay, so we will do this as we go along the sessions. This was a brief overview of what is expected from you. Yeah, now I'll share my slides with you. Just bear with me a minute. So we're doing the first learning outcome, as I had mentioned earlier. This learning outcome will focus basically on giving you an understanding and a knowledge of the stages of growth and development throughout the human lifespan. Okay, so what else are we doing here? So the aim of this unit is to develop an understanding of different areas of growth and development and how each developmental area or a development area, it has an impact. So we know we know that there is definitely an impact of one organ on the other or one part of the body on the other, but how is that impact? How do you measure that impact? How do you understand that impact? And then this unit will introduce you guys to various stages of growth and development that a human being passes through whilst they're alive. A little bit about the terminologies. So we have different life stages. So there's infancy, there's childhood, there's adolescence, early, middle, and late adulthood. All of these are the different life stages, and you have different um, types of growth and development throughout these life stages. So let's say you have physical, intellectual, emotional, and social development. So your physical growth is mostly the gross motor skills, like you start, there's a baby, the baby starts moving um, their limbs, their body parts. They start moving their eyes in response to different stimuli that are there for them. They start rolling over their body. They might start neck holding as well. So these changes are seen throughout your lifetime. So a baby, obviously, they have different stages of life. And as you grow further on, these motor skills and all these skills, they deteriorate. Like when you across your 50s or your 60s, these are going to go downhill, we know that. Okay. um, and then there are physical changes to puberty, and which are the result of other growth changes. Then there's emotional and social development, which includes bonding and attachment, expressing feelings, following instructions, cooperating, self control, self concept, their friendships, their peer groups, etc., that we get involved in. There are certain emotion changes from birth to old age affecting health and well being. So there's the concept of nurture or versus nature. We'll talk about that also. There are certain developmental norms and milestones that we will discuss together, and we'll talk about the stages of care that are available to meet health needs throughout the human lifespan. This is a video that shows human growth and development. So, in a nutshell, your growth starts from here. Okay. And it's, as you can see, it reaches a peak here and then it goes down again. And there are different stages when we go through this process of growth and development. So we'll talk about these. So this now we will try and understand or know the stages of growth and development throughout the human lifespan. Think about the lifespan, the whole lifespan, and make a list of what you would consider the basic periods of development. You could think about childhood, adulthood, and old age, or maybe you can divide it into four different stages, like infancy, that means less than 1 year, childhood, then there's adolescence, and then adulthood. So these developmental milestones or developmentalists, they often break the lifespan into 8 stages. Most of the time, you will have these stages there. So there's prenatal development. Okay. This is when the child is not born. Prenatal means before being born. Pre is before. And then as infancy and toddlerhood, under 1 year of age, early childhood, above 1 year, middle childhood, sorry, adolescence, early adulthood, middle adulthood, and late adulthood. So we start from conception. Now we are trying to describe the physical, intellectual, emotional, and social development for each of the life stages of an individual. So from starting from conception, it is when you conceive a baby. Okay, conception means you think of something or something starts. So it's conceiving a baby. The process starts when there's an egg and a sperm fusing. This happens ideally after sexual intercourse and creates a new live being. And then you have the period of pregnancy, gestation, which is ideally 9 months and until birth. And this at this stage, the baby and the mother go through 3 trimesters. Okay, 3 months each. So there's total of 9 months. And this is where the embryo and the fetus. So the embryo is the whole baby, the development of the fetus, and the baby itself is known as the fetus. They develop there's physical development of it. And then there's birth, when the baby comes out of the mother's body. This can happen through uh, cesarean sections, it can happen through assisted delivery, it can happen through normal natural delivery, whatever the process is. And the labor process has two different stages that lead to birth. That's beyond this course, so we'll focus on the stages. So infancy is ideally 0 to 1 years. There's a typo over here. So 0 to 1 years. And this is when the child or the infant has constant um, needs for attachment with the parent, with the carer, okay, with the caretaker, which is mostly the mother. And this they need for their growth, their development, growing stronger, growing older, and there's a great bonding, and then they learn a lot of things. So this is the time when the fine motor skills, which are known as smaller muscles, when smaller muscles are used to carry out an activity such as drawing. Gross is more bigger muscles, like kicking a ball. Drawing is more intricate, it's finer. Babies are breastfed mostly or formula fed, depending upon whatever the situation is. Sleeping is most of the time the happening thing in their lives. Um, so this is a very popular way to remember the different stages. So it's known as PIES. It is physical development. It is intellectual development, and it's language development and cognitive development. So we'll go through this one by one. So it's different stages that you have this development going on. Okay, just to have, I'll just quickly share this screenshot with you. Just have a look at your task is for tomorrow. Just go through this and um, just read about this, the different stages uh, where the child goes through. I'm putting it in the chat box. Just have a look at this, and if you can take a picture of this, that's also okay. I'll make this bigger for you. So just focus on the 2 months, the 4 months. This is infancy, okay, till 12 months of age. And what happens in with regards to the social or emotional development, language development, the child's cognitive development, and physical development. Just have a read of this. It's just a one pager. And then we will then discuss this tomorrow. So this is a part of your assignment as well. So what I would appreciate is that each one of you has a look at what happens during these stages. Coming towards intellectual growth. Okay, so intellectual is when a baby should be able to recognize sounds, and this is the time when the brain grows really fast. They are also able to make variations of sound, and there's increase in vocabulary of the child. Babies are born with the ability to sense objects. They are also born with a range of reflexes like sucking. This will allow them to feed. Uh, these actions lead to motor actions which control the body movements. So motor and brain, they're all connected. Okay, and the sensory motor stage, when the mind is limited to thinking about sensing objects and performing motor actions. Which baby might want to drink milk, but they can't because their motor function is not as strong as it should be, so they can't hold on to the bottle of milk, or they can't pick the bottle of milk which is at a distance, for instance. Some babies can't suckle because even if they're given the milk, they don't have the power or the motor ability. Those are very premature, preterm babies, and they need extra support. Then there's emotional. So the primary emotions are our love, their fear, their anger. Okay, so the baby develops their self-esteem and concept. The baby also goes through the processes of growth of feelings and aware of who they are and feelings towards other people. And by this stage, the baby enjoys feeding and cuddling and also develops the sense of security and trust. Coming towards the social aspect of growth, babies are very social. They're not like us. They don't like living at in four walls. They want to be out um, the moment they're born. So, and from the age of 6 months, they're likely to be around other people and they enjoy it. They imitate other people's face expressions. They might offer toys to the people around them in a sense of sharing and wanting to play with that person. So they are very social, and you can tell by all babies um, who are born. Coming towards childhood, when your infancy stage of 1 year is over, so there's physical growth where the child grows very rapidly. Okay. So at this stage, the baby now is called a kid and has developed gross motor. So they'll be toddlers at the moment. After the infancy period it's crossed, they have developed gross and fine motor skills. Motor skills is by using of muscles of the body. Gross motor skills are the big muscles of the body, and fine motor skills are the small, as I mentioned earlier. Their height increases exponentially, but not as much as in infancy. Okay. And the bones and the muscles get stronger. Their body is able to heal very quickly, and the body goes through all these processes, and their head is 90% of the adult size. Okay, so everything grows at this stage. So gross motor skills um, are developed in childhood. Fine motor skills are also developed. Walking backwards, so they can build towers with blocks. They can climb stairs. They enjoy painting with big brushes. These are all the fine motor skills, and these are the gross motor skills. So gross motor skills, they can jump off toys. They hop easily and develop a good body balance. They can play ball games. They can skip. They have a good palmar grasp, so they can grasp things in their palms. They develop locomotion, which is basically to move from one place to the other and balance. While in fine motor skills, they can throw, catch things. They can write letters and alphabets as a child, and they can start rolling as well. Now coming towards the intellectual part of their growth. So at this stage, the child goes through different um stages. They repeat things that are said to them. This is known as echolalia. But mainly at this stage, it is when the child begins to talk with signs or words. So this is why it is encouraged to talk in front of them, always positively, and to read in front of them, to make sense of the world that is around them, and to make sure that they're in a secure environment, that because that remains with them for the rest of their lives. They can represent events by drawing, and at the age of 4 to 5 years, they have their first educational experience. Most of the children, they start learning the names of the colors. Some children do it even earlier, and they usually know how to count, should be knowing how to count until 20, and they like to ask questions. They're very curious. They're also interested in new words and meanings and try to understand them. At this age, they also enjoy to listen to music. Um, and they play instruments. They're very social. That's why they like singing and dancing and join singing and dancing groups. From the age of 6 and above, until childhood stages are ending, the child is able to think about more than one thing at a time, and which wasn't a task that was easily achieved when they were younger. So they can probably sing and dance together. They can hop and skip, and they're capable of making up stories as well. um, and they can't differentiate between real and unreal things as yet, and they may get scared of unpleasant experiences. and they can't, then the grammar tends to get improved because they're learning a lot and they're more around people. Coming towards the emotional component. So, at the earlier stages of childhood, children develop acknowledgement of their gender role, most of them, and then are now they understand that they're a boy or a girl. Their inclination is towards either playing with toys if there's a boy, with cars with if there's a boy, um, and if it's a girl, it's more caring, it's more nurturing, it's more playing with dollies, for instance. Um, that's the way they are. That's the way they see their adults. They also start to show a sense of humor and control over their feelings. So therefore, they can start hiding their feelings from some people. They can, if they see a child crying, they may feel like wanting to help. Or if they see a child their age playing with a toy, they want the same toy. They may deny themselves and find another toy to play with, as they know that the other child will be upset if the toy is taken away from them, for some children. um, Coming towards the social component, they're very social. They're not concerned about race. um, they're not concerned about religion. They don't consider language. All they consider is to play, to socialize, to dance together without any hesitation. And that's a very special stage. And they just want to have fun. They want to get, and it's the best way to grow for them. As they grow older, they start to feel more responsibility, and now they're aware that they do have responsibilities as simple as looking after a sibling, a younger sibling, or a family member having to brush their teeth every morning. Now, coming towards the adolescent stage, so what happens here is that, sorry, so it's 10 to 18 years when a boy and a girl, they attain maturity. So they're growing now. They're past their childhood. So here there's physical growth. So during this period, the individual develops their body. Now they have a sense of their body. So there are different hormones that impact um, the growth of their body parts. So this is known as the adolescent stage. There are different hormones for males and for females. So males is mostly it's testosterone, and for girls it is estrogen that has a development that has a part to play in their body development. So this figure here shows the female puberty that is mostly aged 11 to 13 years. So this changes, the changes occur, like the breast tissues start to grow bigger. There's an increase in fat layers under the skin. The pubic hair starts to develop. Menstrual periods may start to develop as well. For male, it's mostly 13 to 15 years. Okay, and then the changes may include their voice becomes heavier, becomes hoarser. Pubic and facial hair will start to appear. There's an increase in their muscle strength. Their penis, and testicles start to grow. And this is all because of the sex hormones involved. So, estrogen for girls and testosterone is for the boys. Uh, then there's different aspects of growth in these at this stage as well, when they're not children, they're adolescents. So there's again a set of different um, growth aspects here. So you'll see intellectual at this stage. They're at school, they can solve problems, they can also think scientifically. If the phone is not charging, they might suggest that the plug is off, or if it's not working. Some other intellectual changes that take place may be arguing skills improvement of reasoning skills. They're able to think about what is best for them and those around them. They're likely to set their own goals. They develop a conscience and they're able to recognize what is right and wrong for most of them. And this is because they develop things, they see things around them. This is how they develop these intellectual and emotional um, aspects of growth. So from the emotional point of view, a development of self in is in progress. The individual has a definite sense of identity. They know who they are. This can be damaged by the nurture concept. Um, Okay, we'll talk about this in a brief time. So this can be affected by hormones also, emotional triggers. So when there's menstrual cycle, girls go through a lot of emotional ups and downs, um, and this, sometimes it happens, and sometimes people it mostly happens because there's, as I said, your body hormones, your they have an impact on the rest of your feelings, on your emotions, etc. Coming towards the social component, so teens get closer to friends, so now they're trying to make friends that um, they want to make friends, so they might find friends who look similar to them, who are from a similar region, probably, or a similar setup, probably. They're similar in color, probably, or maybe not. Whoever um, they have an inclination towards whoever, that depends upon a lot of other factors. So they start to develop their self-worth through their friendships, because of the influence that they have around them. They copy everything the other person wears. So there's a lot of peer pressure also at times, which can go negative as well at times. Um, Now coming towards adulthood, I hope there are no questions. Any questions so far? So
No.
I'm aiming to, yeah, do you have a
No.
question? No.
No.
I'm
No,
aiming to, yeah, you have a question?
no, no question.
Okay, that's fine. I'm aiming to finish um by this slide, and then these slides um we will do them tomorrow, so that's not a problem. I don't want to rush through things. I just want to make sure that you understand everything that is being taught. Now, coming towards adulthood, which is ideally 19 to 65 years, there's again different changes. As I said, all those growth, the growth that was happening when they were growing older, when they were younger, now starts to at- attain its highest level when they're in early adulthood. But then later, in the late adulthood stages, they go down in terms of their abilities to do things, their fine and their gross motor skills, they go down as well, and that is normal life. So at this stage, the individuals start to show small, tiny aspects of early aging. They'll have thinner hair, some have graying of hair. This is later adulthood. And at this point, there's an increase of height or weight that can still slightly take place. Most of the successful athletes in the top of their physical ability at this point are in adulthood. There are two different types of aging. There's primary and secondary. Primary is the molecular and the cellular changes which happen at the cell level. And secondary are physical, the lack of physical activity and poor diet. Okay, so aging happens because of this. So there's one molecular death or cell death that you cannot stop. Okay, that cell dies within a period of time. You can't really regenerate it, or you can't really stop it from dying. Whereas aging also happens when you're lacking physical activity or you're consuming bad diet. So primary aging signs may be like you develop wrinkles and your skin dries. There's reproductive capacity that decreases, so there's more reproduction happening earlier, and later on it's less and less. Hearing and vision difficulties go down. Fats accumulate in the stomach. That's also because of lack of physical activity. For women, adulthood is the stage when their body really changes a lot. Okay, so they have in earlier stages, they have uh, they don't have the problem where they don't conceive, whereas in later stages there may be issues where they can't conceive, and then we have other methods to help them in conceiving. So later on, what happens is that with the process, as the process goes on, um, the women, their body changes because obviously estrogen is then reduced as well. um, and there's ending of menstruation, there's ending of gonadotropin hormones, these increase in gonadotropin hormones. These are also female hormones that cause hot flushes. There's night sweats and a lot of irritability which happens um, as women grow older. And then later on, there's reduction in stress sex hormones, as I said, estrogen and progesterone, that reduces, which causes a lack of sexual interest as well. Intellectually, between this age range, individuals are also at their highest condition to hit the peak rate of intellectuality. At this stage, they have more clearer vision and a better awareness um, of what is right and what is wrong. When they ask questions, they can think and give more than one answer. They can debate, they can make good um, arguments and statements. Coming towards the emotional component at when they're adulthood, emotions are, they have a lot of role to play in an individual's everyday life and in their growth and development as well. So this is the time when you have positive social aspects in life. So if those are there, those positive social aspects, you will then find your emotions to be better nurtured. Positive and good relationships are being built. And when the people go through these stages, they get closer to later adulthood. The individuals want more calm in their lives. Okay, so the partying and all that reduces. They're more serious now. They're more career oriented. They want the right job, the right partner, the right house, the right everything. So they make sense of things. Later adulthood, 65 and older years. So there's a lot of physical changes at this time. Intellectual as well will happen. So at this stage, everything goes down, as we said. The skin is losing its elasticity. It's more it's firmer, and their organs that don't work properly because they're going towards their deterioration where they just have to um, just have they're living their last years of life or the last stage of their life. Some people live for 100 years, so yeah, it's not the last stages. It's towards the journey started. uh, However, they lose their muscle strength, and then it's again whoever's you see people um, who take a lot of advantage of their physical health, and that impacts their physical appearance also. So there's an athlete or a swimmer or a person who's more physically active, they will show better growth. Even if it's at a later stage, their deterioration is not as bad as the person who does not have physical activity in their life. Hair loss, which you cannot help, is more apparent in males. Hearing and vision loss, it's also, you can't help it. And intellectually, so at this stage, the brain does not work as fast and effective as before. They're less able to think about how to solve problems and they cope with difficult life situations. Some individuals can acquire mental problems. You have dementia, they can't remember recent things. Alzheimer's disease, you have Parkinson's that develop at this age. um, Emotionally, so they're very emotionally, because they've lost a lot of people around them, and through these years, maybe their friends that they don't meet at often as they used to meet before. Maybe there's family who they've lost before, or maybe there's a loss of job and a loss of whatever they were doing earlier. They've lost them, and because of this, there could be aspects where um, they might feel depressed, they might feel lonely, where they might feel that the world is going the way it was going. Their family is towards the family is more focused on themselves, their children, their aspirations that they have. However, they they realize that this, and then they make changes in their life themselves. And then socially also, there's a lot of changes that happen on the social aspects. Elderly people, they are not very active, and they're more calm. They want to experience life in a calmer way, unlike what they were before. um, so that's about it. I will end here, and just bear with me while I just take your attendance, please. I need a screenshot of this. Just that's a process that we have to go through. So there are lots of you here. Anyways, I'll just take more than one screenshot. Um, any questions that while I'm doing this? Does anyone have any questions? I'm done with the lecture, but I would appreciate if you're still here so that I can just take your attendance and send it across. Any questions so far? How was the lecture? Did you find it interesting? Did you find? Hello.
Hello, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, it is very interesting.
Okay. Any questions? Do you have any questions? Do you have any
It's
comments? Anything that
very,
we know you want to add? You want adding to
it's
anything else
very
that you?
educational.
Mine is if you have started with the assignments already and the ages you put for the stages were different from yours, is it still acceptable?
I didn't get your question. The
Hello?
assignment? Yeah.
I said if you have already started with the assignments and the
Mhm.
ages you put were different from the ones you are putting on the screen, you're showing on the screen, is it acceptable?
Yeah. You just so when you're doing your assignment, you need to give references. That's Harvard referencing. We'll come to that also. But when you're
No,
doing
no.
your
What I'm saying is
yeah.
like you have already started with the assignment and
Mm-hmm.
you saw different ages related to the stages
Mm-hmm.
from yours. You see, I saw 19 to 65, but maybe with the one the book I used gave different
Yeah.
ages. Is it
That's fine.
acceptable?
That's fine. You just need to reference whatever you're taking it from. So whatever
Okay.
you are taking your questions from, or your um okay, this assignment, okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
So this one, yeah. That's fine. Just see this chart and what does it say. If you're reading it from a book, that's fine. And just I'll share it in the chat box as well, on
Okay.
WhatsApp.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. I'll see you all tomorrow. We will proceed from here. And have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.